Hello, this is the Mega Man X Hard Type 100% Tutorial, Part 1, Intro Stage. So, I'll just get right started on the tech. First thing is, when you're starting the game, instead of pressing start once, you want to press it twice, or just mash is easier. Pressing start the second time cancels and it fades the screen out faster. Also, the very moment you hit the ground, you can jump. That saves about a frame. Right here, to hit them as late as possible, you're going to start charging before this. Jump up and shoot. You can start charging earlier, jump up around these tires, shoot them, or hit them with a green shot, 2 buttons. But either way, killing this guy and jumping up here. These guys have 12 HP. Some of the differences, health differences, instead of 16, they have 12, which is very helpful, especially in one section. So it's pretty easy here to just, I mean, you can shoot them like this fast, and you'll pretty much get it. Single mash, you can do it pretty easily. Personally, I take the controller and I hold it. I use the back of my index finger to hold right, and that way I can have both my thumbs over here for some double mashing while running. When speedrunning video games, it's important to have a good idea of how much input lag you have. So just to build your zen, your character zen, which is a very important thing. Being truly one with your character. It's important to do little things like learn, okay, what's the earliest I can jump? If you watch X back foot, right there, the foot's not even having a pixel where it's flat on the ground. Where if you're jumping like this, you're technically pressing the button a little bit later than you could, and if that was for dashes, you'd lose a few frames every dash. So it's good to get a feel for things like this. It's jumping in place, practicing the timing, a visual cue. There's other little things that I've done just to increase that feeling of oneness with the character, but that's just a concept in short that's a little important to bring up in my opinion. So, when running and double mashing, it makes you a lot more powerful. Anyway, right here, there's a couple ways to handle this section. You can either charge, shoot it right there like that. That's just about frame perfect. I watch I think there's more than one frame that it works, but these guys, they bounce up and down. They actually have 2 hitboxes. So, to ensure that you get the right kind of kill just running and shooting a blue shot, I watch the red thing when I'm right about here. I watch that dark smidge at the end. I forgot to get cursor ready, so I will just quickly copy paste the emote. And use that sharp pointy here as a pointer, right at the top there. That dark section, that's right about where you want to release. That is a little bit more precise than the other method, and it's not even really necessarily faster. The easier method is to shoot once back here as you're running, right as you're about to cross this first yellow thing, and then 2 more. The reason you shoot 2 more after you've crossed the second yellow thing is sometimes these guys, due to the bouncing and the hitboxes moving, will take 2, sometimes 3 hits. Jump as late as you can, just about, and green shot that guy. If you don't jump late enough and you kill him as low as you can, you'll end up spawning another enemy, generating extra lag. This whole section right here is about lag reduction. You can just kind of, go through and everything, but you need to slow it down. The fastest way, shoot once, 2 more times, jump at the end. Make sure your green shot only hits the spikes. If you do it too high, it won't. You'll drop that down. If that drops down, you have to stop moving for a brief moment. So you have to kind of, it helps if you anticipate whether you shot too high or not, and then you can hesitate and then continue without taking a bomb. Hesitating a brief moment is much better than taking a hit. Like that. So this section right here, I call this my favorite pit, and I fall into it all the time. Before, when I wasn't doing running double mashes, I would single mash this guy. Which involves jumping and mashing. It's another tech. Just sit there and practice a little bit. That little micro hop I just did, that was a mistake. That micro hop, boom, instant death. Important to be able to jump and mash. Or go from mashing to jumping and mashing. So what I do, I mean, showing the controller really isn't going to help. I kind of lean into the B button as I still shake my hand, so I'm pressing the B kind of hard, but I've got my thumb raised off the controller as I'm moving the controller like that for mashing. And double mashing is the same principle, except you just have your other thumb next to there. Double mashing is all done with one hand, essentially. So you put one thumb over here on one side of the button, and the other thumb here. This thumb stays rigid and still, just touching the button. And the other hand, when you press it, you move the controller back, and when you let go, you move it back up. Like that. Until it goes fast. And then you can make the 3 lemons limit on screen actually matter on your DPS. So combining that with the claw, back of the finger, index D-pad method lets you jump, shoot, move her around. Alright, next section. Right here, right about this middle yellow is when you want to start shooting. Even if you're not fast at mashing, you can get him. Hit him like 3 times and then keep running. No, that was close. Might have to stop for a brief moment if you're really bad at mashing, but it's just, a skill that you can gain. I shoot him about twice like that. Just keep mashing. If you kill him slowly, make sure you charge at the end, because then this guy will be in your way, you'll have to kill him. This guy, unless you're doing that running, jumping, double mash method, you'll almost always have to stop for him for a little bit. So it can be beneficial to count your damage. Yellow shots 1, green shots 2, blue shots 4 against this enemy. It changes for different enemies. But basically just go up and mash through these guys. Now this next section, there's 1,000 different ways to do it. The fastest way, I'll clip in right before I move into the next section, or I'll just clip that in right here. If you wish, you can kill this guy. I'm gonna try and start these from easiest to hardest, which is typically slowest to fastest. As much as I can for strats, so you can kill this first guy, jump up here. Landing the lemons after the blue shot and the green shot are important, because then it allows you to charge up and get a double hit. Now, before I go into the heart of the gunbolt section, that's what the blue enemy is called, I'm going to talk about just this first guy, killing this first enemy. If you wait a little bit, you can get a 1 cycle. You need to get 8 damage at least. If you're going to opt not to kill him or jumping over, this is the easiest. And then... So... You get that, and you charge up, get a green shot and a lemon. If you miss, like I did there, in this breaks, you have to start over. You cannot make that jump. And you start all the way back to the beginning. It could theoretically be faster, maybe wait a brief moment to get 8 damage. That's the idea. Get 8 damage, then the next blue shot, boom, goes through. So personally, I opt for green shot 2 cycles on this first guy, but you can hit him with a... So it's green shot usually with about 4, and then it needs 2 more for a total of 8 damage. It's important to count your damage against this enemy. I will very often fire an extra shot at him, especially if I think I somehow slowed up a little bit. That way, in case he shoots missiles, can't deflect him. So hit him with the damage. Now, being against this wall, an important mechanic is your hitbox for wall kicks, being up against the wall. The game checks at the very center of X's body first for going up against the wall, so if the middle of your body is up higher, you might hit this guy, especially when he scrunches down. His hitbox extends out a little bit, so you have to make sure to keep low on there. You can jump, as long as your kick is followed above this line, you'll make it to this. So, jump up, blue shot, green shot, lemon, like that. That gives 8 damage to this guy, the required number to just start charging. Boom. Now here, you can make this jump, but many times you'll get a wall kick. Obviously it's faster to take out as many wall kicks as you can and keep it flowing. It is possible to flow through this entire area only with brief hesitation, just like I showed before. So if you hit him with blue shot lemon, it means 3 more damage. Noob strats, you can charge up and do that, but it's slower, so you can hit him with one of those jump mashes that I talked about. I respawned him, so his health reset. And then this last guy, you just kind of jump and shoot. If he doesn't take enough damage, you can wall kick here to hesitate, so you don't bonk into him and potentially fall. That happens a lot. So, another method of getting through is, instead of clearing out those burst enemies, the spike enemies, make save space. You can just keep on going. Running, jumping, double mashes, get through pretty fast. Even if you hesitate a whole bunch, it's faster than waiting, going. actually here, waiting a little bit. That's in my opinion, that's the strat that I use. I go through, do single mashes against that wall, and I just mash them. When mashing, you have to keep in mind you cannot hit the next enemy while you're on the ground. So you want to jump and then mash. That. And as you're falling and you're about to land, you need to stop your mashing. If you miss 3 shots underneath them, you're guaranteed to have to slow down because you can't shoot again. Even if you miss 2 shots, you've lowered your mash power to a level 1. You can only have 1 lemon. Go in after him until those lemons get to the end of the screen. Not missing lots of shots helps speed here. Going back here just to regain health. Lots of bad things can go wrong. This section is pretty unique. I hit him with 2 extra shots there, so you have to jump up. If you make the jump and you're going for a no stop, then it makes this next mash section much harder, and oftentimes you have to hesitate, do a little hop, add a couple of extra shots. It's good to be mindful of how many shots approximately or accurately that you've hit these enemies with, so you can know if you can proceed. Like, you can kill the guy on here and then hit the next guy with 3 lemons before you even hit the ground. A little hop, and then boom. Through. Alright, the bees. The fastest potential strat is not the strat that I recommend because it has a low RNG percentage of happening, and otherwise it's almost always slower. But what I do, even if you're slow at mashing, I'll do it with a slow mash. You jump, hit him with a charge shot, and hit him with another charge shot there. I missed my charge shot, but they stay here. That's a thing. If you're using safe states and you want to... Safe states are very important in speedrunning. They allow you to maximize the efficiency of your practice by many-fold. So a little tip is if a spot requires you to have a charge right away, instead of each time waiting 2 seconds, which is like half the length of the strat anyways, you know, just that little bit is like 50% increase. You can pause the game, and as you're unpausing and it's fading back in, you do the safe state, and that way you'll show up to a fading in game. You can just hold shoot. Sometimes, especially if you're slower at mashing, you can hit them with 2 lemons as you jump up. You can stand here, hit them with another. How you get hit by that guy, if you stand too far back, you can drop enemies at you. But if the top of your head is on the left of that spike thing, then you'll bonk to the left. So you need to make sure you're to the right of that spike, but to the left of where he drops the enemy. Do that, and mash. Pretty basic. Here's a method like that, where you can get no bonk, where you jump, mash in the beast's face, and then get him. Quite easily back upable into another strat if he uses machine gun, but if he fires these missiles, you take a lot of damage and it's slower. These rolly guys generate tons of lag, so when he drops them, you're gonna lose them. Personally, instead of just standing there, I will opt to jump up just to save a few frames. It's not necessary, so, you know, there's different strats. Risk-reward is a huge thing in speedrunning, as well as consistency training. I do these little micro hops to make sure I don't hit those guys also, because it's possible to get 3 lemons underneath it. Like that. There was a gap in my mash if I would have been doing little hops. So basically, it's like a double mash with when you're jumping, except with my left thumb I'm only hitting Y, and my right thumb I'm basically hitting the jump button. Sometimes, like, consciously separate to the mash, sometimes just kind of with the mash a little bit. But it helps. If you have too much damage here and you want to just continue the run at all costs, guaranteed health down here. So this next section, as each bee is actually slightly different. This bee hovers lower than the next one. That's the only difference. Coming up here, if you get a green shot, you can shoot it right about here. A blue shot right about here. It'll take out that enemy, and if you drop something, it won't be right next to the edge. To avoid drops. And just another bee. I exited the game. Alright. And we're back. That, edges. You can save, or actually, you lose a frame if you walk off an edge. Stop moving for 1 frame. Jump over here. Do the exact same thing. Now, this jump, I should have made my save state in a different spot. But I'll talk about the strat. So, as this bee is dying, there's this jump. Especially if you're just starting off, I do not recommend going for this jump. Just go for the wall kick. There's a setup for it. You hold right, you get up against the screen lock. You wait for the screen lock to disappear. That's the setup. You lose a couple frames to, human timing. Okay, screen lock's released. Press right. You do a timing cue. There's different kinds of cues. Most common ones that are obvious, visual cues, audio cues. There's also timing cues. You create a timing mechanism in your head. Sometimes audio-based, like you imagine a sound in your head sometimes to get that timing consistently right. But or just other times, just simply time. Like right here, you get up against the screen lock, and it's like, bump. And you can make it. I don't know exactly where the screen lock is, but it's like, bump. You learn the timing. Like, get up against the screen lock, wait for it to release, make a save state then, and then just practice the timing. Bump. This is one of the 2 high difficulty jumps in the level. The other alternative setup lists, pretty dumb strat in my opinion because of the variable lag that happens when this guy drops enemies. Really dangerous, you can just fall to your death. Kind of hard to react, but sometimes you can save it. You don't have to get all the way up on top of here, because you still have to probably wall kick. So if you get above that pink line a bit, make it back up in 1 kick. Or even a little below, looking at the bottom of your feet. So if you do fall, there's no need to climb all the way back up here and go over. Go. Right here, it's just 2 wall kicks. Can't really avoid the fact that it's 2 wall kicks. This is a checkpoint as well. There's, oh yeah, slope jumps. You can be doing little slope jumps, but these are not the most steep of slopes, and if you mess them up, like, they actually cost you time, and they only save like a frame. It's good tech to be able to do. There are a couple of actual uses for it in Penguin Stage. I think that's the only stage where slope jumps are used, other than potentially here. Since it's 2 wall kicks, to do these optimally, the first kick just has to be as soon as possible, the next one whenever. Pretty much, just both of them as soon as possible. It doesn't matter, because no matter what, you're gonna do 2 wall kicks. I don't even see this as a vertical section. I see it as like a horizontal section. As long as you don't touch the wall like that. If you go like that, that's not optimal. All your wall kicks, when moving forward, be done without touching, well, almost all of them. To be done before you actually touch the wall. You can kick up to 7 pixels away, and a wall kick pushes you 8 pixels away. Or 9, I mean, I'm sorry. So if you move forward 2 pixels... Oh man. Weird. Anyway. Not really an important section, but I want to talk about everything in this game. Small health here can be valuable at times. Big health, not really worth it. RNG wise, they're with one of the strats. If you're at 3 or less health, at the end of the stage, there's a 12% chance that you'll die to RNG. So a small health here is sometimes a nice little insurance to pick up to make sure you can continue with faster strats. This slope jump, once you get up here, you can pretty much do... Once you start the slope, you can do like 2 full jumps, and that's too far. So, I do like shorter jumps. Got breakable blocks coming up. It helps to get as far forward as you can, not getting a wall kick like that. If you land on the very end of this, it won't break, which helps. You want to eliminate dust, because dust can generate lag. But jumping here, instead of running, saves a little bit of time because you have that extra slope speed. Every now and then, like that last attempt, I actually let go of right for a brief moment because I knew I wasn't going to make it. I was going to jump too far. 1 kick up here, start charging. And this is the other high difficulty jump. Is it nail? Talk about this one now. This section, you can make it through without shooting anybody. But, you know, more enemies on screen. I like to kill them, unless they can get in your way. I have a setup for this. I jump right around here. Now, an important thing in speedrunning is that it's pixels and frames a lot with these 2D games. So you gotta learn the pixels and stuff. You have to do it, repeat it over and over. See which pixels fail, which ones make it. I'll do my best to try and show where what is, but running, doing a full height jump, and looking at exactly where I did that full height jump, it tells me how long I need to run on the edge. Sure, you can just go like this and time it, but I prefer a setup because it gives me more information earlier on in the strat than just a pow. Even though it is quite doable, the average reaction time to something about 0.5 seconds. I think that's to unexpected. I'm not sure exactly if that's for unexpected input of information or whatever, but about half a second human reaction time. So anytime that you can have a little extra time to have information about something that's slightly variable, slightly changing, can be beneficial. Just make your way through here. I mean, you can charge shot everything. Or whatever you want. Just have to jump near the edge on all these. Pretty much all these are breakable blocks. You can jump to avoid them breaking, or you can run through, whatever you're comfortable with. It's all about consistency is more important than doing a slightly faster strat. Especially if it's just saving a few frames. So around here, 8 health is where you want to be at optimally. That means you got a non-machine gun B for both times, and you didn't make any mistakes. This is assuming you didn't collect any health. I would not collect a big health to get you over 8, because the save that I'm talking about that you get at the end is just some frames. Anyway, this is basically the first section of downtime. You can either spend it doing slope jumps, which, by the way, the last slope jump you do, if you're going up, should always be done as high as possible, because it gives you a little bit extra time that you have that slope jump speed. Save a third. Gives you sub-pixel boosts. Saves a little bit extra time, maybe a frame better. You do it at the top. I'm not really one to do slope jumps on here, also for endurance reasons. Play this game for 10 hours, you don't want to do 15 slope jumps every intro. Especially with how the next stage is. The next stage is pretty difficult and it's kind of well, the optimal route. Anyway, moving on. This next section, we're going to have a full charge by the time you're at the top of here. When you jump onto this platform, to avoid drops, of course you can go up, do it like that, and get drops. But if you jump immediately, right about when the half of your body is crossing this, when you want to instantly jump and shoot. That way, you can avoid any kind of drops. That spiky dude I said to pick up small health from, potentially, that is the last decision farmable guy. Easily decision farmable guy. This next section, the way I used to do it, this guy's pretty straightforward, so now I'm going to move on to the next section. There's a few ways. I like the most recently covered way where after you shoot the blue shot here, you get a green shot by here right away. A little bit later, not quite here, an instant jump shoot. You kind of delay it and then jump shoot. And it kills the guy at the end. Right there. So his drop will just fall and not be on the edge. If you do it too late, the drop will be on the very edge, and that's not ideal. There's a big health pellet sitting where you're required to jump from. There's a lot of different ways to do this spot. Another, you can just run blue shot, green shot, but then you have potential to pick up drops. So I recommend killing him early. I always hop over this first guy. He's not always going to hit you, like there, but sometimes he will. Just like that, this method. That's a good method. That avoids the drop. If you do it right, you miss that drop and you can continue. However, right there, that guy can hit you. Just like this guy can hit you doing this strat. So I always do a little hop there, just to eliminate that possibility. This next section here on this wall, optimally you can get up in 2 wall kicks. So depending on how close to the edge you were when you jump, and how far away from the wall you were when you got your first wall kick, determines your success. It doesn't have to be maxed out on either one, but if you get a bad jump off, like that far away or something, you're gonna need a really good wall kick. Jumping close to the edge, right when you start falling at the edge. So I'm gonna wipe out these enemies. Not one health. Whatever. I'm just doing this, blowing through. I guess I'll just blow through into it every time. So also getting those kicks as far away from the wall as possible can help save some frames. Like that. You have to get right about above that line to make it up. But with a really good jump off of here and a really good kick, you actually can wall kick kind of rapidly. Wall kicks, when they're a certain distance from the very top, like you move backwards and then forwards, and there's a specific amount of height that you gain doing so. And any kick above that height is you've got time where you're already around the corner, going back and forward still. So there's a height where it's optimal to cut the corner. That's what speedrunning is all about, cutting as many corners as you can, best you can. So if you do get a really, I wanna update health. Okay. If you do get a really good jump off of there and a really good wall kick here, you can land on the wall about here, where my feet is. And in which case, you want your second kick to be a little faster. You don't want to even them out or be like kick, kick. You want to be like kick, kick. That way, you're not wasting time. Other times, you have to be like jump, jump, and then you still won't make it. You'll be like, well, shit, I just lost a few frames. I don't really have anything else to say about this strat. 2 kick is nice to land though. Oh, double kick. Instead of a 2 kick, if you land up short, like here, if your first wall kick brings you up to about here, then you can get a juicy double kick. It's another thing, tech to practice. See how much height you can gain from double kicks. If these guys start attacking you like that, it's good to stick to the wall sometimes by rapidly tapping towards the wall. And that will improve your chances of them hitting the left side of you. Otherwise, you can jump up and make sure that you're hitting your left side of them on them so that you stick to the wall or you'll get bonked off. Cars. R-type cars. Easiest method. Actually, that first guy shows up a little bit faster, so if you... Okay, so they have 6 health to the next section, that enemy. Shoot him 5 times, shoot him 6. Blow him up. Take a ride. If you're uncomfortable with this jump, it's not particularly precise, but you can't land on the ledge, you have to get a wall kick. Right here, when it bounces, you can randomly take damage at the top of that little hill. But always make sure you jump right here. The faster method of getting down, well, it's just run, jump. Then there's another car, which is required. Make it past here. You can stand that far forward. Those 2 green dots at the front, if you've covered up the second green dot, then you're just as far forward as you can be. Although the second car, your foot, if you do it the optimal car, your foot is behind the green dots, but the principle is the same. Fastest way, kill this first guy. Now, The reason I kill that first guy instead of the second is an RNG manipulation. It's a couple of frames slower because that car ends up behind the other one if you leave them both alive. But, however, it gives a 12% chance he'll get shot in the air and a 12% chance that he won't shoot you on the ground on the platform next. So it has much happier RNG plateau. Just run, jump. If he shoots twice in the air, he's not going to shoot you. That's the sign. If he shoots twice up there, he's not going to shoot you. When you're at 8 health, health values are very important. You have to know exactly how much health you have at this stage level to proceed optimally. With 8 health, you have to take at least shot damage. Shot does 3, car bonk does 4. You have to get to 3 or less. When at 8, it requires getting shot, which will typically happen. Now, that cue to shoot, you watch the little gem on X's head. And as soon as it gets to the face of the driver is when you jump. So I'll do it again. Running. Boom. 12% RNG. You can hop right on up, take a bonk. Other situations that can arise. Just get rid of this first guy. Make a spade up here. Let's say at this point here, the car's coming down and you have, like, you got delayed somehow. You would have had to do 2 wall kicks to get up for some reason. Something happened. You got shot in the air. You have less than 5 health, meaning the car is lethal. You can, once you get to that wall, do a quick wall kick. Just hit the button, like the shortest wall kick you can. It's not like jumping where you can jump 1 pixel. This is the shortest the wall kick can be. So you do a short wall kick, and then you tap against the wall. When you tap against the wall like that, it slows you down. A lot better than dragging across. And that looks like... Backups are very important to know. A little kick, like that, try not to get your head chopped off. It's not always the very shortest kick that you want, but you want a pretty short one. No, I don't want to make a state there, it'll lock the RNG. Oh, boom. In this scenario, having 5 health, you get either a little frame boost. Instead of just doing that and hopping back on the car, you do it right here. Personally, I choose right as the car is about to go over the edge. If you go over like that, right before it falls, you do not want the car to start falling first, or else you just kind of fall. So you can get on the front of the car, saving a few frames. Also, this car showing up here will sometimes shoot, take some extra damage. There is there's backup. Need be. Okay, so I didn't talk about all the health values. If you are at if you are at 3 or less health, you can kill this guy behind you, or you can, do something. Let him get in front of you, hang out on the wall. Just kill the car all outright. Just get rid of him from the equation. Ride him broken down the pit if you don't like to, across the pit if you don't like that jump. But optimally, if you cannot take damage at this point, you can do a quick little turnaround. Right here. It's kind of like a slope jump, except you're using the shoot button instead. Like that. Very important that you wait until he hits the ground. 2 reasons. Number 1, go slow as hell. Number 2, okay, that's not usually how it goes, but number 2, the car will get to here, and instead of a nice happy little you just go wabam. Okay, that didn't work out very well. That's okay. You just get sucked into the pit because the car thinks it's still falling the whole time and it's accelerating, and then it just sucks you in and it'll surprise you and it'll be like, what just happened? Another backup. If, let's say you get the RNG, he shoots 2 lines on top. It's important to practice all of these scenarios. You can lock in RNGs. The RNG in this game is basically global timer based, and also dust clouds from sliding down a wall updates the RNG by an additional tick. If you have to take 3 damage, let's say he shoots twice up there, so you get behind the car. You get behind the car and you blow it up before he turns around. Shoot him 5 times, 6 times like that, cancel your hit stun, and you can keep on rolling. Sometimes that gives unfavorable situations, but it's a nice little backup. And you get to cancel your hit stun by, okay, hit stun, when you get a bonk, and you bonk backwards towards something, it can only be canceled if you're getting bonked towards the wall, and you're holding the D-pad towards the wall. So when I was up against that car, I was holding towards the car to cancel the hit stun instantly and jump over. Again, here, there's a little thing here. You want to jump over, save 1 frame, jump over the edge. That's about it on the cars. This jump is required to ride a car over in some fashion, either as a bridge or whatever. And get to this point at 3 or less health. Start off with a full charge. Cannot do assistant manips on the ship. Stop about there, double mash, run to the right. Do it again. Always watch the ship. Watch that fin. That fin is really important to stick close to. Turn around, bonk closer to Vile. Not really much has changed with Vile. You can stand a little bit further back if you want a little extra time to like kill him, but I recommend double mashing. Farther back you stand, the longer it takes for shots to be able to be shot again. So personally, I would just always stand here. If you end up here, you have to take 4 damage. You can end up here, jump, blue shot, hit him. That's a very good backup, and then you can mash him and pretty much not lose time as long as the ship does good things. Now with this ship, it has its encourageable RNG. So when you run to the left, it's more likely to go to the left. If you run to the right, it's more likely to change direction and go to the right. Sometimes when it's going to the right, you want to go to the left and be like, let me catch up, hopefully it doesn't turn around. Sometimes when it's going away from you, you want to tap the other direction and encourage it to turn around. I do this by I'm using the index on the D-pad method, and I'll do that. I'll like, let's say I'm running to the left on the D-pad with my index, and then I'll use my thumb as well, and I'll tap with my thumb while I'm holding down, and it'll make for some quick little turnarounds. It makes it so you can do them a little rapidly, and that can encourage it to turn around, or it can just cost you time. If you get really bad, alright, so like right there, I went left to realign it. That was a double mash micro hop. Those can cost some time. Sometimes it'll go all the way to the right here and stop. That's ideally what'll happen, but it's very rare, even though that's basically always what happens in vanilla. There is soft lock potential right over here. Let's get a soft lock. No, let's have a better ship first. It is a soft lock having to do with 0 and possible because of soft lock prevention. The point... Oops. Anyway, once you get bonked by Vile's electricity, if you're like right here or farther left than here, it will soft lock. 0 won't show up and the game will continue forever. I'm not going to show it. Let's say that it's there. I think it has to do with this thing, and this thing is here to prevent Vile soft lock, where he'll just dash off the cliff. I personally would much rather have this kind of soft lock potential than Vile dashing RNG potential, because if you end up over here, he could dash who knows how far to the side and fall off the edge, where here it is completely based on your positioning. Now right here, I do running double mash. How I was talking about, I use my thumb to turn right. I'm actually doing that. I'm not switching my index. I'm using my thumb directionals like this as I'm double mashing. Because usually at the end when you're double mashing, you're going to the left. You can use your thumb to move to the right if necessary. You can jump over the car as it's exploding to move a little bit farther left on the second car. But you have to be careful, because if you do it too well, you can pick up the health drop, and then you have to hit Vile. Fighting Vile. Do these one more time. There are 3 levels of damage that you can take. You can get punched, you can take body contact damage, and then there's Vile contact damage. Getting punched does 3. Body damage, I believe, is 4, and getting hit directly by Vile, I think, is 7 damage or so. Anyway, once he grabs you, that's it. The level's over. 0 shows up, tells you to get your dash boots for free, and you continue on. I split on teleport. The moment that he looks like a little teleport blob, but there's still the bubble part on the floor. That's my split queue. So thank you for watching, hope this helps. And I will see you in part 2, talking about routing and doing Boomer stage.